The sun rose over Dubai, painting the skyscrapers and the ocean a brilliant gold. It was a morning that promised perfection. But the silence inside a grand villa on the Palm Jumeirah, a massive man-made island, held a chilling secret. News broke that Adam Khan, 41, and Layla Khan, 36, a couple known for their big charity events and perfect, shining public image, had been found completely unresponsive inside their opulent home. They were not dead, but in a deep, unnatural sleep from which doctors could not wake them. The villa showed no signs of a struggle. Nothing was broken. Everything was in its place. Only one thing was wrong. A beautiful, imported crib sat in the couple's bedroom, fully assembled, waiting for a baby that had not yet arrived. Authorities immediately whispered a phrase that turned the local mystery into a global fire. They paid $200,000 cash for a baby transfer, and the helper disappeared. This was the story of how a powerful couple's deepest dream, to have a child, twisted into a nightmare of secrets and betrayal. Adam Khan was a self-made man who built his fortune in luxury construction. Layla ran a successful charity for women. To the public, they were modern royalty. But behind the mirrored glass walls of their perfect villa, years of quiet sadness and medical challenges had left them desperate for a child to complete their lives. One night, while scrolling through private online forums, Layla found a name whispered like a priceless secret tip: Mara Singh. Mara was described as a private adoption coordinator based in India, known for complete discretion, fast results, and for charging extremely high fees. The Khans, desperate, paid Mara $200,000 cash immediately. There was no formal paperwork, no recognized adoption clinic, no official safe trail. Just a promise. Just trust. It would be the most expensive, most dangerous mistake of their lives. Detective Omar Rafiq, a seasoned investigator with kind but tired eyes, was assigned the case. His first task was to trace the missing money. His team watched as the $200,000 vanished instantly through a maze of complex offshore accounts, money hidden in other countries. Mara Singh was real, but she had completely disappeared. Her phone was switched off. Her listed addresses were empty. Her passport was flagged by police, but hadn't been used. The only clue was a blurry video clip from a distant security camera. Mara, boarding a private yacht in the harbor the week before the Khans fell into their unnatural sleep. Detective Omar felt a cold chill run up his spine. This wasn't just a scam to steal money. This was a carefully planned operation to steal everything they had. Detective Omar started to investigate the day before the Khans became unresponsive. 2 days before their fate, the Khans hosted a small, quiet dinner in their villa. Only 4 people attended, all close to the couple. Adam, the husband, Layla, the wife, their trusted financial advisor, Raymond Holt, and Layla's kind childhood friend, Rania Al-Saad. The high-tech villa cameras captured images of laughter, wine glasses clinking, and the beautiful glimmer of the ocean outside. Everything seemed completely normal, but at 11:42 p.m., something strange and eerie happened. All 12 of the Khans' security cameras went offline. All at once, it was a complete electronic failure. When the cameras came back online, hours later, at dawn, the villa was silent, and the Khans were already in their beds, deeply asleep, unresponsive to any medical attempts to wake them. Omar's investigation of the Khans' condition was puzzling. The medical team couldn't find any common poison. It was as if they had simply stopped their hearts, except they were still alive, just completely disconnected from the world. During the initial walkthrough, Omar noticed a critical detail. The front entrance was a highly secure, biometric door that opened only with a special fingerprint. The last fingerprint used to exit the villa was neither Adam's nor Layla's. "Who else has access?" Omar asked his team. They ran the fingerprint against their database. The result was shocking. Mara Singh. The missing surrogate, who was supposed to be in India, was the last person to leave the villa. But Mara's police file revealed something truly horrifying. She wasn't a surrogate coordinator. She wasn't a nurse. She wasn't even legally in the country. Mara Singh was a convicted identity forger tied to multiple human trafficking networks and high-level scams. Omar's gut twisted. The Khans hadn't hired a helper. They had paid a huge sum to a professional criminal ghost. The dream nursery was the emotional center of the disaster. Inside the crib drawer, Omar found a folded contract, unsigned, promising Mara an extra $50,000 if she could deliver the baby earlier. But there were two fingerprints on that contract that should not have been there: Layla's and Raymond Holt's. The financial advisor, who had insisted he knew nothing about the surrogate plans, was now directly linked to the secret payment contract. A huge lie was beginning to unravel right in the most private room of the house. Detective Omar immediately pulled Raymond Holt's phone and bank records. Raymond was known for his calm, professional demeanor, but the records told a different story. Omar found evidence of late-night calls to Mara Singh, long before the surrogate deal was officially made. He found encrypted messages and payments funneled through the same complex offshore accounts where the Khan's $200,000 had vanished. Raymond didn't just know about Mara, Omar realized. He was the one who set the whole scam up. Raymond Holt was brought in for immediate questioning. He sat across from Omar, his expensive suit looking wrinkled under the harsh interrogation lights. His cool composure cracked almost instantly. "Yes," Raymond confessed, his voice barely a whisper. "I knew Mara. I found her for them. Yes, I helped arrange the initial cash transfer. And yes, I took a large cut of the money. I needed it for my own failing investments." Raymond explained that he told Mara that the Khans were desperate and rich, perfect targets. Mara promised a fake adoption story that would keep the money flowing until they ran out of patience. But when Omar asked why he was the last person to handle the contract and why the Khans were now deeply unconscious, Raymond's eyes went wide with genuine fear. "I didn't hurt them. I swear," Raymond pleaded. "I was just running the money scam. I was gone by 10 p.m. that night." Then, Raymond said a single sentence that completely changed the direction of the investigation, shifting it from simple fraud into a much darker orbit. "I didn't hurt them. Rania did. Layla's childhood friend, the loyal friend who was at the dinner." "Why Rania?" Omar asked, leaning forward, feeling the puzzle pieces shifting violently. "Because Layla told me Rania was deeply jealous of their life. Rania was obsessed with the baby," Raymond said, shivering. "Obsessed with taking Layla's place." Omar knew he had to investigate Rania Al-Saad immediately, not as a witness, but as a primary suspect. The financial advisor, the architect of the cash scam, had pointed the finger at the trusted childhood friend. Omar's team immediately pulled up the file on Rania Al-Saad, 36. Rania had grown up with Layla, shared every secret, and watched Layla's success from the sidelines. Layla married Adam, built a luxury construction empire, and traveled the world. Rania struggled. She was drowning in debt from a failing art business and living in a tiny apartment. Rania had always lived in Layla's shadow, and deep-seated jealousy was the powerful emotion that Omar often saw turn into dark actions. When Omar checked Rania's bank transactions, he found a clear sign of financial desperation. A large, mysterious $200,000 cash deposit made just one day after the Khans transferred the money to Mara Singh. Omar felt the puzzle pieces click together. The Khans paid Mara $200,000. Mara had a partner on the inside. That partner needed to pay off debt. Rania was at the dinner that night. She had the opportunity. She had the motive, money and envy, and she had received the exact amount of the original scam payment. Omar brought Rania in. She arrived looking elegant but exhausted, protesting her innocence. "I was helping my friend Layla organize her medicine drawer that night," Rania explained calmly. "She had a migraine. I left at 11:30 p.m. before the cameras went out." "Did you take anything from the house, Rania?" Omar asked. "Of course not. I love Layla." Omar looked at the surveillance records again. Rania left at 11:30 p.m. The cameras failed at 11:42 p.m. She was gone, but the camera system was deactivated minutes later. This detail meant Rania wasn't working alone, or she was more sophisticated than she looked. But Omar realized Rania was no killer in the traditional sense. She wouldn't use a knife or a gun. She would use something quiet, clean, and untraceable. Something that would make their deep sleep look like a natural medical crisis. Omar asked his technology specialist, Samira, to trace the camera failure, while he focused on Rania's potential methods. Rania mentioned organizing Layla's medicines. "Find out if Rania has access to any controlled substances," Omar ordered his team. The answer arrived quickly. Rania's cousin was a pharmacy technician with legal access to specialized, controlled medical substances. The true nature of the crime, a quiet, insidious attack, was beginning to emerge. Detective Omar knew the team had to find the substance that put the Khans into their deep, unresponsive sleep. The medical team had focused on common poisons, but Omar suspected something sophisticated and clean. He contacted the toxicology lab and requested a special, detailed screening for slow-acting cardiac sedatives, medications that relax the heart so much it puts the patient into a critical, non-responsive state, making it look like a natural heart failure. While waiting for the specialized results, Omar focused on Rania's entry and exit. Samira, the tech specialist, reported on the camera failure. "It wasn't a power cut, detective. It was a remote override. Someone accessed the villa's central network at 11:42 p.m. and turned off the camera feed." Omar felt a jolt of realization. Rania left at 11:30 p.m. The system went off at 11:42 p.m. Rania couldn't have done it from the road. The camera failure was the signal, Omar mused. Rania administered the drug at 11:30 p.m. She left, then someone else shut down the system 12 minutes later. Someone was waiting for her signal. The plan was highly coordinated. The final piece of this phase of the puzzle was the biometric lock. The last fingerprint leaving the villa belonged to the phantom surrogate, Mara Singh. Omar questioned Rania again. "Why did you help Layla with her medicine? Did you replace anything in her drawer?" Rania refused to answer. She only kept whispering about her love for Layla. Omar then confronted her with the $200,000 cash deposit found in her account. Rania finally broke, her calm demeanor shattering into angry tears. She screamed a truth that was far more obsessive than just jealousy. "The child was supposed to be mine. She promised me. Layla promised me the baby." Omar listened, stunned. Rania was not only jealous of Layla's wealth, she was completely obsessed with the child the Khans were trying to adopt. She had twisted Layla's casual comment about Rania being the godmother into a delusion that they would raise the child together. Rania's motive was terrifying. If she couldn't have the baby, and she couldn't have Layla's life, She would take both by incapacitating Layla and destroying Adam. The toxicology report arrived at Omar's desk. It was subtle but decisive. The Khans had been given a large dose of a slow-acting heart sedative, a highly controlled substance. It would have taken about 15 minutes to take full effect, making their collapse look like simultaneous, natural cardiac arrests. Rania's cousin, the pharmacy technician, was brought in. He confessed that Rania had begged him for a supply of the sedative, claiming it was for her own severe sleep anxiety. He provided the drug, thinking he was helping a struggling cousin. The facts were now clear. Rania drugged the Khans before she left at 11:30 p.m. But the camera failure at 11:42 p.m. still pointed to a second person on the team, waiting for Rania's signal. Omar returned to Raymond Holt. "Raymond," Omar said, placing the sedative report on the table. "Rania confessed her obsession with the child. She drugged the Khans, but she didn't turn off the cameras. You were at the dinner. You know the security system. Who else was there?" Raymond, pale and desperate to save himself, refused to admit his involvement in the drugging. "I was only running the Mara scam, detective. The money was my only interest." Omar showed him the camera logs, the time Rania left and the time the system went dark. "You are connected to Mara, Raymond, and Mara's fingerprint was on the exit lock. Did Mara come back that night?" Raymond broke down again, his face hidden in his hands. He confessed that he knew about Rania's hatred for Layla, and Rania had promised him the entire $200,000 if he would help her with the final steps. "She knew I needed the cash," Raymond sobbed. "I gave her the code to turn off the cameras remotely. I gave her the address of the villa's safe. She was going to get something else after the Khans were asleep." Omar's eyes narrowed. "The villa's safe. What was Mara doing back at the villa?" Omar demanded. "What was Mara's job in all this?" The case was no longer just about a ghost baby or a jealous friend, it was about a hidden asset. Omar and Samira rushed back to the Khan villa. They located the hidden wall safe behind a large painting in Adam's study. It was open. Inside, the safe was empty, except for a small, personalized card from Adam to Layla. The money was Mara's reward. The drugging was Rania's revenge. But the target was in this safe, Omar stated. Samira found faint dust patterns inside the safe, suggesting a large, square folder or legal deed had been kept there. Omar contacted Adam Khan's head of legal affairs. After hours of reviewing highly confidential company files, they found it. The missing document was the final, signed deed to a vast, undeveloped piece of land in the heart of Dubai. A piece of land worth billions that Adam was secretly planning to turn into his final legacy project. Mara wasn't after cash. Mara, the convicted identity forger, was after the deeds. The new, terrifying plan was clear. Rania incapacitates the Khans for revenge and to help her get the $200,000. Raymond provides the security access and the safe location for his cut of the $200,000. Mara enters the villa, steals the deed, and then disappears forever. The Khan's desperate longing for a child was the perfect doorway for all three criminals to enter their lives and steal their most valuable assets. Omar needed to find Mara and the deeds. Her last known sighting was boarding the private yacht. Samira managed to use the blurry CCTV yacht footage and specialized facial recognition software to identify the owner of the yacht, an anonymous shell company tied to a massive global competitor of Adam Khan's construction company. The rival company hired Mara, Omar realized. They used her criminal skills to orchestrate the deed theft and ruin Adam's legacy project. The web of crime was enormous, stretching from a small dinner party to the highest levels of corporate sabotage. Omar knew Mara was the key. She was the ghost, the puppet master who had convinced the Khans they needed her fake adoption help. They traced the yacht owner to a high-rise office in Singapore. Omar sent an immediate international warrant for Mara Singh, now wanted for corporate theft and conspiracy to incapacitate the Khans. But Mara, the professional ghost, was always one step ahead. Omar managed to recover Mara's last communication to Raymond Holt, sent right after she left the Khan's villa with the deed. It was an encrypted text message that read, "Once they're desperate enough, the rest will collapse on its own. Enjoy the cash." The message confirmed that Mara knew exactly how to manipulate the Khan's desperate dream. She didn't have to hurt them. She just had to lure them into trusting her with their deepest secret. Omar ordered a full search of Mara's last known hideout, a rented apartment in a quiet part of Dubai. The apartment was empty, except for a few unsettling items: a wig and makeup kit to change her appearance, a set of master keys for high-security biometric locks, and a detailed blueprint of the Khan villa's interior. Mara had planned this theft for months, using the fake baby story as the ultimate smokescreen. Omar was certain Mara had already escaped the country. He felt the weight of failure. He had the local culprits, Rania and Raymond, but the main thief and the stolen deeds were gone. He sat back in his chair, staring at the floor plan of the Khan villa. What did he miss? He looked at the crib photo again. The pristine, imported crib with the baby lion cartoons. And then he remembered the detail from the initial walkthrough. The mobile above the crib still had the price tag dangling. Omar knew that in a crime this meticulous, no detail was accidental. Why would a family desperate for a child leave the price tag on the crib mobile? He realized it was Mara's final message. He and Samira returned to the villa immediately and went straight to the nursery. Omar carefully examined the crib mobile. The tag was standard, but written on the back, in tiny, almost invisible ink, was a single phrase: "Check the foundation." "It's a clue," Omar shouted. Mara knew the police would find her print on the door. She knew the crib was the emotional center. This is a secret message left for the police to find the Khan's true, deepest secret. Samira started scanning the structure of the villa. Adam Khan was a builder. He would have secret places in his own house. The Khan's villa was built on reclaimed land. Adam's legacy project was tied to the land deeds. Samira's thermal scanner picked up an anomaly beneath the master bedroom floor. A sealed, square pocket of concrete that was slightly cooler than the surrounding foundation. They called in a team to carefully drill into the foundation. Below the pristine marble floor, they found a small, secondary safe. A safe that even Raymond Holt didn't know about. Inside the secondary safe, they didn't find the deeds. They found a series of detailed, handwritten journals belonging to Layla Khan. These journals revealed the Khan's final, deepest secret. Layla was not infertile. Adam was the one who could not have children. Layla had hidden this fact from the world, and even from her family. Her journals detailed her plan to expose Adam's fraud and move all of her family's shares into the hidden deeds. Layla's journals told a tragic story of quiet desperation turning into cold, calculating self-preservation. Layla had discovered Adam's construction empire was built on a foundation of illegal land acquisitions and bribes. He was planning to hide billions of stolen funds in the new legacy project. Layla realized her perfect life was a beautiful lie. The journal revealed that Layla had secretly hired Mara Singh months ago, not as a surrogate coordinator, but as a private investigator to gather evidence against her own husband. The $200,000 was the fee to expose Adam's scheme. Mara discovered Adam's plan to hide the final deed in the safe. Layla's original plan: fake a surrogate issue to distract Adam. Use Mara to copy the deeds and expose Adam's fraud just before the official transfer. But then, Rania intervened with her jealous plot. Rania, wanting the baby and the wealth, found out Layla was working with Mara. Rania decided to take control. Rania drugged Layla to keep her quiet. Rania helped Mara get the deeds and run, thinking Mara was helping Rania take Layla's place. Layla's final journal entry was terrifying. She suspected Rania was onto her, and she had moved the real deed to a bank vault before the dinner. She only left a fake deed in the villa safe, hoping the thieves would take it and be exposed later. The Khans were not victims of a simple scam. They were caught in a triple cross: Adam's fraud, stealing land funds; Layla's counterplan, using Mara to expose him; Rania's revenge, drugging Layla to take her wealth. Omar now had to find the real deed, and he had to find the mastermind who knew the truth about the Khans' fractured marriage. Omar realized the true complexity of the biometric lock fingerprint. Mara Singh's print was on file because Layla hired her as an investigator and gave her temporary access. But why did Mara leave her print when she was supposed to be a ghost? Omar looked at the CCTV footage of the dinner one last time. Rania, Raymond, Layla, and Adam. Laughter, wine, and secrets. He focused on the moments right before Rania left. He saw Rania and Layla leaning close, talking about Layla's migraines. Omar asked Samira to check the plaque for latent prints. The results were immediate. Adam Khan's print. Adam, suspecting Layla was plotting against him, had secretly planned to use the biometric lock to trap Layla inside and frame her for the illegal land scheme. The final, horrifying truth: Adam Khan had drugged Layla first. Adam wanted Layla incapacitated so he could steal the real deed from the bank vault before she woke up. Rania, in her obsessive jealousy, simply gave Layla an overdose of the same sedative that Adam had already administered. Adam had put himself into the deep sleep too, because Rania's dose was too large for him to handle. The Khan's fate was a result of their own marriage dissolving into a war zone, fueled by greed and obsession. The final arrests were made quickly. Rania Al-Sad was arrested for attempted incapacitation, doping Layla, and conspiracy with Raymond. She received a life sentence, consumed by her own toxic jealousy. Raymond Holt was charged with fraud and corporate conspiracy. He admitted his cut of the $200,000 came from the rival company to help facilitate the plan. Adam Khan, still critically ill, was arrested in absentia while still in the hospital for massive land fraud, bribery, and the attempted incapacitation of his wife. The biggest mystery remained: Mara Singh. Mara, the professional ghost, was still unreachable, but her action of leaving the subtle clue, "Check the foundation," proved she completed her job for Layla and was exposing Adam's fraud. The Khans were not just victims of a scam. They were the authors of their own marital war. Their desperation for a child was the emotional shield they both used to hide their greed and betrayal. Layla, slowly recovering in the hospital, confirmed the journals. She confirmed Adam's plot and Rania's betrayal. The marriage was over. Omar summarized the case for the press. The Khan's villa was sold, but the dream nursery was dismantled. Their tragedy became a whispered warning among Dubai's elite. The ultimate truth was revealed. Rania and Adam, the people Layla loved and trusted, were the two predators feeding on Layla's longing, one for the wealth, one for the child. Months later, the Khan's grand villa was sold, the dream nursery dismantled, and the silence returned to the Palm Jumeirah. Detective Omar Rafiq stood by the quiet shoreline, the sea breeze finally clearing the air of secrets. Omar summarized the entire case in a single, quiet line that spoke volumes about human nature. In their longing for a child, they embraced people who fed on longing. Mara Singh, the surrogate investigator, vanished, having completed her final mission for Layla. The truth was out, and Adam's fraud was exposed. The $200,000 Mara took was simply the fee for exposing the larger crime. Rania was gone, consumed by her own jealous delusion. Raymond faced prison, his greed the final nail in his career. Layla was left alone, without a husband or a child, but with her family's wealth and a truth that cost her everything. The Khan's tragedy taught Dubai a powerful lesson. Some dreams become doorways, and behind those doors wait predators dressed as helpers and friends. Layla's recovery was long, but she reclaimed her life, working to undo the fraud her husband had committed. She never spoke of the crib again. The crib, once a symbol of hope, became a silent monument to the fact that the things we want the most can sometimes attract the most dangerous lies. The dream was lost, but the truth, hard-won and devastating, finally surfaced under the glittering gold glare of the Dubai sun.